Welcome, everyone. Like to call the meeting of April 15th of the RDC to order, please. Looks like the first item is the meeting minutes, which were distributed in your packet. If anyone has had an opportunity to read them besides myself, you'd like to make a motion to approve them as are, or if you would like to suggest there's an improvement or change, let me know.
I move to approve the meeting minutes.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triolo,
Yes.
Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan,
Aye.
motion carries.
Do we need to do a roll call? Mr. Shalio. I guess it's Mr. Fotia.
Yeah, for those that haven't met Frank Fotia, this is Frank Fotia. Frank is the third member of our staff.
Good morning. In your packet today, you will find the monthly.
Maybe you want to push that a little farther away from you, maybe, or something. Okay.
It's
Maybe
systems,
you
welcome
should-
back.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have come back, Frank. Okay. I know they've been in here adjusting things, and I don't think this is this. Your phone. See if this will work. Oh, yours isn't even on. Oh, I guess it is. Okay. In your packets are the monthly financial.
Just talk loud. It'll pick you up.
In your packets. Nope, this isn't gonna work either.
That metal plate he had added to his head really is causing some issues. So.
In your packets are the monthly financial reports for January, February, and March. I apologize for not getting January and February's to you earlier, but as was mentioned, I have been out. I am happy to answer any questions anyone might have on any of those reports.
Just on the and general allocation, you have grants. Are they, where do they come from? Are they earmarked for something special? It says 2024 RCE grant.
Yes, so we were awarded 3 grants in the AM General TIF area related to rail expansion. So RCE is a rail crossing elimination grant. And then the other 2 are raise grants. So those reflect our, I'm sorry, Chrissy grants. Those reflect our local match.
Local match. Wow.
For the federal. So that's the amount of money we owe there. So the RCE grant was $1 million grant, 700 and some thousand from the federal government. We provide the local match. Patriot Rail is putting in 50% of that match, and we're putting in the other half. Same thing with the other 2. Those are set asides for our portion of our local match for those 2 grant programs.
So the ones for railroad crossing, and then what's the other?
They're all related to railroads, so they're Chrissy grants. Yep.
Moving to the Southwest broadband.
Yeah, so in your packet is a proposal from Choice Light, and by way of history, and the memo kind of covers some of the history. After we completed the westward expansion of fiber to New Carlisle several years ago, the next part of the county that we really wanted to address fiber and broadband service with was the southwest quadrant of the county. In 2021, we received funding to do design work for that Southwest Corridor project. The Southwest project would take fiber from roughly the casino to North Liberty to Walkerton, and then from North Liberty to Lakeville. And then North Liberty to Lakeville piece would be a loop that would be built within the system. So over the last several years, we've been working to build pieces or build the planning to build pieces of this project. What we have, about a year ago, we did a project with North Liberty, as North Liberty was putting in water and sewer from the town limits to the park, to Potato Creek State Park. We built a conduit in the network. We didn't pull fiber at that time, but we put the conduit in. And so that was a cost of $108,000 at that time. What we have before you today is what we would call phase two of the project. So this is taking fiber and conduit from State Road 4 and 931, so basically Lakeville, to where that conduit ends, pulling conduit in that conduit that got, or pulling fiber in the conduit that got built, and then extending the fiber into North Liberty and then down to the highway garage. So it builds a leg of the project. And then what we would do is come back this summer and seek to build phase three. Maybe it's phase 3 and 4. So it would go from the casino to North Liberty to that connection point, then North Liberty to Walkerton, or from the highway garage down to Walkerton. The pricing that we have for this is extremely, extremely fantastic for the amount of work that's being done. The money that's being used for this project was money that was set aside from Project Honeysuckle as part of the Project Honeysuckle, which was a solar project north of kind of northeast of New Carlisle. There was $3 million allocated for community enhancement projects. That money was moved to the Redevelopment Commission to do fiber in the southwest part of the county. We've held it until we could get factors to be in place to build pieces of this project. So this is a huge element of this project today. Would ask for your consideration. Regina Emberton from Choice Lights here, maybe just to add a couple of words on this project and then how it relates to some other fiber things happening in the region.
Good morning. Thanks. Regina Emberton with Choice Light, and Bill did a great job of explaining this, but we have a great relationship with the county, a reciprocal agreement where we've expanded fiber throughout. And this is just, as he mentioned, one more segment of this. It creates redundancy. There's quite a lot of benefits, and I would say like the catalyst for this particular project are a few commercial users that were looking to connect towers in that area. So we were able to leverage some of their investment and then get the pricing down for Choice Light in the county to extend this through the rural area along State Road 4. It also would enable us to connect Potato Creek State Park and the new inn that's there if they were to need service. So there's several different benefits. And as it was designed through the county, it also could leverage residential broadband. So as Choice Light and the county work to do commercial and support that side of things, this design also would enable any internet service providers to use the dark fiber to connect residential customers along that route as well.
Thank you.
So there's a note, that last paragraph says that you could get some matching grant money from Broad Equity Access and Deployment.
Yeah, I can talk to that a little bit. That's the BEAD grant. So the BEAD is a federal grant, and the state of Indiana through the Indiana Broadband Office is allocating that throughout the state with the goal really of serving every underserved or unserved address in the country. We're not exactly sure how the federal funding is working right now. It's kind of on pause, but the county did provide a letter of support for Surf Broadband. They in turn were applying with Choice Light to serve this area. These funds that are allocated today would count as that match if that BEAD project were to move forward. So you're not inhibiting that in any way of the county's commitment to matching that.
And is that something you apply for?
Actually, Surf Broadband was the applicant. You have to be an internet service provider, and we're just dark fiber, but we were the dark fiber backbone partner for that. So kind of like a sub applicant, I guess you would call it.
Where's the estimated $2 million going to be coming from later this year if we were to start it?
For the rest of the project. So between this and the 108 that we've already spent, that 2 million would then, I mean, it would still come out of that $3 million original funding. And then that would give us 2 million to get from the casino to North Liberty to Walkerton. So that would be the hope, is that we would have enough capital to be able to do that and get that done yet this year also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the professional services agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triolo?
Yes.
Mr. Volper?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Motion carried.
So we have three professional service proposals. The first one in the packet is Larison Boulevard Project One. And I had circulated a map that's a little bit better than the one that I put in the packet, just for illustrative purposes. This project today is kind of an outgrowth of work that Lockmuir has been doing with us, first on Fillmore Road, then on the interchange at 2 and Larison. And now we're at a point where the interchange project is moving forward. The Fillmore project is under construction. The first of three phases of that is actually completed. And so here we are now at a point where we've got to build the intersection at Fillmore and Larison, the intersection at the employee entrance drive, which is just about 650 feet south of Fillmore. And then the roadway connection point from the end of the bridge segment to that employee entrance drive. So that's what this design contract is related to. And again, it's a culmination of work that's been going on since the original contract was signed back in January of 2024. But this design work will get us to a point where we can be under construction with the employee entrance drive and the Fillmore improvements yet this year. We'll go out to bid later this year. I think in August is kind of the targeted timeframe that we'll do the bid awards on that and then move this project forward. But the contract here is in the amount of $1.4 million, a little more. Staff would ask for your approval of this proposal, please. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So again, once again, we've selected Lockmuir Group because of all the work they've done out there, and it made the most sense versus having other parties bid.
Yep, it really is a kind of a continuation contract. So they had done the work, they've done the survey, they've done the environmental. So this is, now we're at a point where we're finally ready to design. Had we done this contract 6 months ago or even a year ago, we wouldn't be designing the same thing that we are now. So it's, it's been a progressive thing that we just needed to get all these other pieces lined up. Just because it relates to this, real quick, we had a public meeting or a elected officials meeting yesterday on the State Road 2 Larison project. There's a public meeting coming up on April 24th. I passed around a series of meeting dates coming up, and I'll address that at the end of the meeting. But so the State Road 2 Larison project hopes to have a progressive design builder selected by June, be under construction by the end of this year. The project completed by December of 2027. So a lot of work will be happening there. So this piece is, again, just in line with all the other work happening in that corridor. So.
Of the 1,000,004, 750, it's unfair to ask you, but I will anyway. 750,000 is for inspection by engineers or
Yeah, so that would be the construction engineering that'll be part of the project. So.
be out there all the
Yep.
time, et cetera.
Yep. And I will tell you that we have gotten our money's worth in the last couple of these projects just because we've had some field conditions that it was good that we had people there in the field, throughout the course of the project to help with some design issues. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve?
I motion it.
Your second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triolo?
Aye.
Mr. Volper?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next professional service proposal is Amendment 5 to the Donahue project. This is one of these that if we would have understood how many different water projects we would have had them do along the way, we would have just set this up as a much different contract. Again, what we're looking to do is add $20,000 here to the work scope item. What we use Donahue for, amongst other things in this project, is we have different water issues come up. different, whether it was work with the water tower and how that did, making sure we set the proper pressure for the water tower, or making sure that we removed and reduced water pressure conflicts or other conflicts. They've been a great resource for our team in that. Again, this is work that we need to have done as it relates to GM and Amazon as we begin to transition phase 2 and phase 3 of the water treatment plant improvements online. And so we've had to coordinate with those improvements going online as it relates to St. Joe Energy Center in their existing water needs. So just things that they've done along the way that this $20,000 addition will help with. So again, would ask for your approval on this also, please.
Any comments or questions?
How far along are they on this project? I mean, is this going to be it?
So
or-
water treatment plant project 2, which is the first expansion of the project, should be completed. It's actually functionally complete now, but will be finalized by the time we get the wells in service. I think the completion date is July of this year. Phase 3 is under construction right now. We just started that. So we've got a water tower to build. We're expanding the building. We've got some tanks that have to be delivered. Our problem with water plant phase 3 that may delay that project a little bit is the filter material for the water treatment plant. We use green sand filters, and so we're having problems getting green sand in from South America. There've been some delays on receiving that material. But we anticipate that project will be done also this year. And so that would put in both phase 2, phase 3 into completion. So work like this with Donahue should come. This probably is likely the last of these amendments. Now I say that, and then we'll find out that we have some other, we've got a discussion right now with GM as it relates to a fire well on site, whether that's on site or that's part of the system. There may be some additional work that's got to be done for fire flows and water flow metering, but I believe that this should be it.
Is there a motion to approve?
Aye.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Volker,
Aye.
and Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So the last professional service item in this packet, maybe it started at the back. In the back of this item, we have the update report that was given to the NICTD Board of Directors on March 31st. Terry was in attendance at that meeting. This is the presentation. We've been working on a train station study in the New Carlisle area. I had started with 3 station locations, narrowed it down to 2. Then along the way, picked up another site to look at and remove that from the list. This is kind of the study result of that. As we look, there's a site A and site B. We're in the process right now of doing some additional study work as it relates to sizing of the station, some other work, and that's the reason for this change order. The 2 those sites are west of Michigan Street or west of US 20 as you come into town, and then east where there had been a trailer park. That's land we own, principally the land for Site B. We, the Redevelopment Commission, Board of Commissioners, own Site B. So we're working through trying to finalize that work. The contract before you, the contract edition from Antero, wallet is the total amount request is 56,500. We don't believe we're going to reach that. There's some additional work that needs to be done, some additional study with some modeling. Part of the challenge we run into with some of the train modeling that has to be done is because we sit right on the edge of the county line. The model from ACOG is built for St. Joe County, Elkhart County. And so we've got to get data from St. Joe County and LaPorte County. And so it's some model building exercise. So there've been some extra costs there, some additional study work. And then at your last meeting, we approved some contracts as it related to some roadway design and some survey work at Michigan and Marble Lane, kind of around Kate O'Connor's. So that information has to be plugged in here to help finalize the station location. So again, what we'd ask for is for your approval of this change order number 1 at a max cap of 56,500. I don't believe we're going to hit that, but would ask for that as the amount. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Triolo.
Aye.
Mr. Volper,
Aye.
and Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item in your packet is the Smilax Road easement, Millar Farms parcel easement with Borden Land LLC. So over the last several months, we've been working, we and Amazon Web Service have been working with property owners to secure easements for our Smilax roadway sewer project. In the packet is a map of the specific easement on this parcel. This parcel is located at the southeast corner of US 20 and Smilax Road. We're looking to acquire about 20 feet off the western edge of this property. The Smilax Road project, though, goes all the way from almost Edison Road all the way north up to US 20. So it's a new force main sewer project. We needed a little bit wider easement than we already had, so that's the purpose for this. The easement amount is in the cost of $34,870, roughly 0.44 acres in size. And again, it's 20 feet in depth or width along the length of the property. This will buy us an exclusive easement. It will allow us to do utility work, whatever utilities we need in that 20 feet. There were some concerns early on that it was going to be limited to only sewer. We don't know what other utilities may come along the way. So we're asking for your approval of this easement. This is the last easement we need for this project and 4 projects out in the IEC. So this is, you previously approved easement at R&L Carriers or easement in the purchase of property. So this is the last easement, and then we're good on all of our easement requests. So I ask for your approval of this, please.
Any questions? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Triolo.
Aye.
Mr. Volper,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So resolution 2025 04. This is a piece of property that was acquired by the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Redevelopment Commission, because at the time that we were working to acquire the property, it was not on an acquisition list, the Redevelopment Commission's acquisition list. So that's the typical process, and we're going to do another one of those today for Douglas Road, or talk to you about that. What we're asking to do today, though, is because the Board of Commissioners have title to the property, we'd like to move it to the Redevelopment Commission, so that as we move forward with either rezoning or putting the property into a position for future disposition, it's managed by the Redevelopment Commission. Proceeds from any sale can come back to the Redevelopment Commission. So that's the purpose of this. This is kind of a 2-part ask. The first part is your ask here, and then tonight we're asking the Board of Commissioners to transfer it. So this is subject to Board of Commissioner action tonight to approve it. On the second page, so on the back side of the memo, there's a map. So again, this is a property at the southeast corner of Fillmore and Larison. Earlier in the meeting, you approved a contract with Lockmuller to do design. Part of the other reason we want it in our name is so as we're doing intersection work at Fillmore and Larison with the roundabout, whatever property we have to take, it's easier to take it in the Redevelopment Commission's name than going through the Board of Commissioners for any deeds of dedication or anything like that. The end goal of this property and the properties adjacent to it would be part of a supplier village. Ultimately, across from the employee drive, we would push a drive to the east. As properties are acquired or as properties are ready to develop, the road would continue to extend to the east. Right now, it shows a cul-de-sac at the far east end of this Hatch property, but that cul-de-sac could extend further east for suppliers. On the south side of the drive presently, or that future drive, is Kirk Concrete. They've set up a concrete batch plant. There's a little kind of a square in that littler square. It says NIPSCO site. That's a piece of property that, again, the Board of Commissioners bought on behalf of the Redevelopment Commission. That piece of property has been transferred to NIPSCO to build a new power station there. And so that's another piece of property that was acquired for a purpose and now that piece of property is off the rolls, so to speak. So would ask for that was a long-winded request on this resolution, but if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
It looks like there's some buildings on the property.
The house has been torn down. They were torn down almost immediately after acquisition. We find that we don't do well owning properties or we just let the people just gut them for us. And so these have been removed. Properties are clear and this is just an old aerial, so.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-4?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triola?
Aye.
Mr. Volker?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, we are moving out of New Carlisle and we're moving into the AM General Economic Development Area. What was before you was a professional service agreement for a acquisition appraisal at 14266 Douglas Road by Steve Santee. In your package, there is a map. The map shows where this subject property is, and the map shows three properties that the Redevelopment Commission through the Board of Commissioners have already purchased. The reason for this purchase is we anticipate expanding the road. The road right now, if you look at your map, the green area is the city limits of Mishawaka. That's a 4-lane road there. The long-term goal is to make that rest of Douglas Road 4 lanes from the city limits to Capitol Avenue, and also do some major improvements to the railroad, either a overpass or that line crossing. The appraisal proposal from Mr. Santee is $500. Staff asks approval of that request.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triola?
Aye.
Mr. Volker?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next before you is a professional service proposal. We always have 2 appraisals. This is from Iverson Grove to appraise the same property. His professional service proposal is for the same amount of $500. Staff requests approval of this request.
I'll motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Triola?
Aye.
Mr. Volker?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This property is currently listed for sale. And because it was currently listed for sale, it was very easy for Mr. Santee and Mr. Grove to already provide staff with appraisals. So the next resolution, 2025-05, is to acquire that property with funds from the Redevelopment Commission, with the Board of Commissioners purchasing that property at 14266 Douglas Road. The appraisals, average of the 2 appraisals were $214,500. And the list price of that property was $214,900. So the numbers worked out well. If you have any questions, happy to answer them.
The funds for the acquisition would be from the AM General TIF area.
Yep. And I would note the kind of the beauty of this one, because it was for sale, there wouldn't be any relocation associated with this. So this is really just an at-cost acquisition. So.
Are you approaching these other property?
We have not yet, but as more houses are acquired and more houses are removed, we anticipate some of the neighbors reaching out to us. One particular house we previously acquired was right after the neighbor became frustrated because we demoed the house next door.
We have had several conversations with several of the property owners, but haven't done yet a blanket, public meeting or anything. So the neighbors know what's going on. But it's just strictly, this is a long game project. So this is not one that we've got immediate funds to go move forward with the project. But as property becomes available, it's, especially when you don't have to pay relocation, it makes for good acquisition targets. So.
But that is protocol. So you go private meeting, public meeting, then you move forward at that point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-05?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triolin?
Aye.
Mr. Volker?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Next item is Wyatt Economic. By who you? Because the TIF area is expiring in the near future, and the bond that was issued has already been paid off. The township trustees, contacted us and asked us if there was possibility that they could establish a grant program. Last year, the redevelopment commission approved $50,000 to be used by the citizens of Wyatt. It was a 50-50 match up to $5,000. That is an example of one of the businesses that took advantage of the grant. Based upon some money we anticipate spending on broadband, we're proposing to allocate $25,000 for 2025 for this same type of program. And we've let the trustee know that we may not be able to do this in 2026. Staff asked, so it's not approval, it's just more of us an update that we're moving forward. When Frank put together the budget at the beginning of the year, he allocated some money towards the possibility of doing that this year. If you have any questions, Frank and I would be happy to answer.
Thank you.
I do think we need it.
So under additional business, Anderson Road County Park Project, just more of an update. April 24th from 6 to 8 at Discovery Middle School, we'll have another public meeting. The first meeting was pretty well attended. And so this is, the project update meeting will be more of a, review of concepts. So there'll be a couple different concept plans for the park. So that'll be the presentation at that meeting on the 24th. Again, passed around to you earlier was a list of a bunch of public meetings coming up. So just wanted to make you aware of those that are happening in and around the area. Redevelopment Commission has involvement in most of those project activities. But also note today, right at this time, which kind of leads into the next item, the park board is approving the first step of a park bond. That'll be the bond that will then approve this project and several other park projects. So just wanted to make you aware of that, just because that's something that we've been involved with. And then item B is a request, a humble request. We thought it'd be a great idea to move to the third Wednesday of or the third Tuesday of the month. But it turns out that conflicts with Park Board and conflicts with a number of other things, with the Board of Commissioners moving their meetings from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. That reduces the issue with trying to cram in a whole meeting in an hour that we'd had before. So we'd humbly request going back, starting in May, back to the second Tuesday of the month. That removes the number of conflicts. The only conflict we have is the November 12th, because November 11th is Veterans Day. So we need to push the meeting to Wednesday. We'll verify a quorum for that, but would ask for your approval to move the calendar, and we'll publish the new calendar moving back to the second Tuesday if that works for everybody.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Triola?
Aye.
Volker?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Motion.
Thank you very much. I guess sometimes you shouldn't screw around with greatness. So when you have something that works, so
Sounded good at the time.
it did.
Next meeting will be the 13th.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
We're going to move to the public comment section. Anyone wishing to speak could approach the podium or raise their hand online. You're limited to 3 minutes, and just give us your name and address. Is there anyone in person who'd like to speak today? Seeing no one, is there anyone online? There is one person. I cannot read the name.
Steve Francis.
Oh, Steve Francis.
Yes. Hello, good morning, Commissioners. Steve Francis, Duday Lake Drive, Clay Township. My comments relate to something that's before the Area Plan Commission today, a rezoning request for from ag to industrial out in the what I call the Eastern Industrial Enterprise Center. That is just south of Granger and east of Capitol Road, Capitol Avenue. Although that's not before you today, I am wondering and would like to know further in advance than when it pops up on the agenda, whether the Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth intends to extend or apply a TIF or construct a new TIF district for that entire area, or how, in fact, certain services, roads and utilities, water, which is going to be very expensive, is going to be extended to that area. As you may know or should know, there's significant and substantial opposition to the establishment of these enormous data centers out there, and the establishment, again, of an ever-growing industrial center on the east side of the county. There's much more populated, it's much more congested out there than even on the west side and the IEC West. So I would hope that, and also on the Capitol Avenue Management Plan, I would like to see it surface to the public sooner than when it comes up for approval, and to be assured that there's going to be involvement of folks who have an interest in the development of this area and the development of that management plan. This rezoning that's occurring today is being rezoned in an area that was designated as green space, and to protect the Jude Creek area and so on from development while providing adequate land for development elsewhere. And it's very concerning to the citizens out there. And I would like the RDC to play a more advanced proactive role in making sure that the public is involved or informed before it actually gets to your decision. And you can do that through perhaps talking to the director to have some public meetings that could enable the public to understand what he intends to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Is there anyone else online who'd like to speak? Seeing no one, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second, Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
We are-